Movie 4. Budget. Previously, we demonstrated how you can get an overview of your debt. Now, it's important to find out how much money you need to live and if there is something left to pay off debt. In order to apply for a postponement or a cancellation of interests, you will need a budget.
When Per contacts those he owes money to, he has to inform and document that he's not able to pay since he has no income due to his imprisonment. Then he has to stop the interests and the fees. It's up to the creditors if they want to halt these, but they don't want to waste time on demands that wouldn't be paid anyway. Per knows how much he will earn when released and where he will live. He's then able to set up a budget which shows a surplus. Money left over after deducting money for living costs and rent is money he has to pay to the creditors. If he doesn't pay voluntarily, he will receive a deduction from his salary. Per now needs to show a will to pay by sending a down payment plan, which begins when he starts to work. Paul has also gotten a debt overview. But how does that help when he doesn't know what to live off? It's hard to get a job without any education and with little experience. He's also afraid that he can't take care of his daughter because everything he earns will be used to pay back his debt. He is afraid that child services will show up.
Will the creditors take all your money if you receive income? No. Regardless of how much debt you have the right to deduct money to provide for yourself and your children before you pay debt. This is another reason to set up a budget. You have to show which expenses that are absolutely necessary. Child services don't care if you have debt, as long as you take good care of the children.
Paul is transferred to a minimum security prison, or overgangsbolig in Norwegian, and he sets up a budget. He doesn't pay much rent there, so his budget shows a surplus, even though he collects welfare money from Nav and doesn't have a full salary. He starts with paying his fines because he knows these won't go away. After his release from prison, Paul wants to rent an apartment. Close to release, he sets up a new budget with regular rent in it. The budget now shows a deficit, which means that he's not able to pay off his debt. He now needs to send out an explanation and documentation about that. Now we have gone through what debt is and why it is smart to clean up. Measures to cut costs, how to get an overview, how to set up a budget, contacting creditors, and setting up a down payment plan. If you do this, you will stand stronger when you get released. In the next movie, we will look at some solutions and find out how it went with Per, Paul, and Espen.